Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. So I was thinking about today, and I was thinking about what are the things that move the needle in everyone's lives? What are the things that make us say, aha? What are the things that help us to connect the dots? Well, I started thinking about all the C's. I was thinking about connection and community, commitment, all the things. And I really should have put the 9,000 C's, to keep you motivated. But I kind of came down to 5, and I'm going to go through some of them because I think they all sort of connect to one another, and they really help to make a really good loop, a good connection, a chain, if you will, around what it is that you're trying to do. Because if we can keep ourselves going, like a chain on a bicycle, if your chain comes off your bicycle, and I don't care how fast you're pedaling, you're going nowhere unless you're going downhill. And, that's a bad analogy for anything, right? That's not what we want. What do we want? We want to be able to get the momentum. That's what you want to see momentum. Watch a bicycle. First one pedal, then the other, and then you keep going, and boy, you've got that momentum going, and the chain is in place, right? The chain is in place. The chain on each one of those spokes, or whatever that thing is, the flywheel, I guess it is, that chain that's going through it and getting pushed by your foot with your effort is what's moving the whole mechanism, and it's a constant, so it's an ellipse, really, almost kind of a thing. And it makes all the difference in the world because it gives us that clarity and it gives us that opportunity to really get in and catch a wave. Anybody ever body surfed here? Have you ever body surfed? I almost got killed in Hawaii body surfing, by the way. But if you've ever body surfed, you understand what it is. You are out there on your board trying to catch a wave. Well, we get to catch waves when we start to put these C's in place. And when we put these C's in place, not only is it motivating, but it catches us in the place and gets us to this place of momentum, which equals magic. We talk about that. Motivation plus momentum equals magic. Sounds like there are cattle moving upstairs, apparently. You didn't know that we raised cattle in the living room, did you? Anyway, so when we make a decision about each different C as we go along, as we string these together, as we make the chain, if we make the chain, when we make that chain and we make that decision to follow those links on the chain, we are going to catch that magic of momentum. And okay, Sarah, I see that you crowd surf. That is fun. I've never done it. Ooh, maybe I should put that on my bucket list. Just saying. Becoming unavailable for things that you used to do is really where we need to go, because when we set up our environment for success, we talk about this all the time. We talk about setting our environment up for success because we know that a positive environment is 100% going to at any time trump willpower. Willpower is overblown, and how long have we been beating ourselves up over not having willpower, not having strong enough willpower? Well, maybe next time I can do better, but it's so hard as I'm on the struggle bus, this, that, and the other thing. We say all these things about willpower, and that's because willpower is not the thing. I mean, who's going to have willpower? If it's like putting a 3-year-old in a china shop. Are they going to have the willpower to keep their hands to themselves? Are they going to want to touch everything? We don't put 3-year-olds in that situation, do we? No, we don't. If we do, we're holding their hands, we've got them occupied with something else. We do something to create the environment for this toddler so that they can have success. We don't want to see our toddlers not have success. We need to do the same thing for ourselves. That's why this is so critical. That's why it is so important to start with these C's. Now, the first one that I have is conviction, and conviction is a formal declaration a firmly held belief. When you have a conviction, and maybe it's a doctor that gave you a conviction sitting across the desk from you and said, you know, if you don't lower your blood sugar, you're going to have full-blown diabetes. Or if you don't get your full-blown diabetes lowered with your medication and a change of lifestyle, you're going to have to start injecting insulin. Or even worse, and it can, you know where I'm going with all of this, right? Yeah, that can happen. But you know what else can happen? You can have a conviction all by yourself, sitting in your office, sitting in your living room, washing dishes or whatever, and just make a decision. Suddenly say, it's all clicking in. I get it. I need to make the changes that I want to make. Maybe not want to make so much, but need to make these changes so that I can have the vibrant life that I want to live. And we use the why framework. We've talked about the why framework. Why do I want to do that? Because why do I want to have a vibrant life? So I can participate full out with my kids. So I can participate full out with my spouse. So I can have the kind of life that I want to have. And we just keep asking these questions, and it keeps filling up our little cups of wonderment, right? It helps us to understand what we're all about. And conviction, it has to start there. It has to start with, you know what? If I ate more vegetables, I'm going to feel better. If I ate less inflammatory foods, I'm not going to be as inflamed. I'm not going to wake up in the morning in pain. If I did this, if I get off the sugar, I'm going to feel better. Because, you know, if we keep placating ourselves and pretending that everything is okay and that we don't need to go to the place of conviction and we don't need to go to the place of looking at our situation and saying, is it really going to get better from here? Because every single day, we are living another single day and another single day. You know, it's adding up. And as we get older, it gets a little bit more difficult. So what are you going to do with today? How are you going to stand on your conviction? Is your conviction going to take you to the next level? And your conviction lands in your heart. It's part of what your belief system is. And if you're convicted about one thing, that a healthy lifestyle is something that has to be a part of what you do, then just allow that to be. You don't have to connect all the dots on it right now. You just need to allow that conviction to settle in as your belief system. Okay, that's number one. And number two, it's all about your capacity. Now, capacity is a funny thing because it's a standard environment. This is your capacity. This is your capacity for a glass. This is your capacity for a bread basket. This is the capacity for your washing machine, right? There's a capacity on everything. We are human beings with only so much capacity. But I'm going to tell you right now that the capacity for you to do things that are uncomfortable and new are well beyond what you think is possible. You can do hard things. So when I say just push yourself a little bit, I'm not asking you to go stand on a corner naked and hold up a sign that says I'm trying new things here. You know, not going to ask you to do that. I'm not going to ask you to call up strangers or do things that are just awful. I mean, when I was in sales, way back in the olden days, when I was in sales, I remember my first line of work, what my boss had me do, gave me a stack of business cards and said, go cold call all of this business park, knock on every single door. Can I just tell you how petrified I was of that? How scared I was of that? But you know what? I had the capability to do it, and I also had the capacity to do it. Because capability lines right up with capacity. My capacity for doing this was well beyond what I thought was possible. And I did it anyway, in spite of the fear. We can always do that. We can always step up, and we always need to be looking at things and not standing away from our fear, but instead, you know, giving it the why framework if we need to. You know, our capacity for doing stuff is well beyond what we think we can do. I promise you this is true. You're a lot stronger than you think you are. It's the truth. But number three is capability. Now this is the what you actually know already how to do. So I didn't know anything about knocking on doors and doing anything. I did sell Girl Scout cookies though at one time. So what did I do? I knew that I had something that maybe they wanted. Now every door that I knocked on as a Girl Scout didn't want to buy cookies, much to my chagrin. You know, I prided myself on selling a lot of cookies. And as an adult, when I was out selling title insurance, I knew at the doors that I was knocking on that they had they needed title insurance for the work that they were doing. Did they want my title insurance? That was the question. So I had to ask that. Do you want my Girl Scout cookies, or would, Thin Mints, folks, Thin Mints, Do you want these Girl Scout cookies, or are you buying Girl Scout cookies from someone else? That's all it was. And the no was way more often than the yes. Way more often than the yes. And when I found people who were maybes, then I knew when I could push. But that's the whole thing. That's what capacity does. That's what capability does. It weeds through. It acts like a sieve, and it's shaking those things out. Have you seen gold miners? This is what they do. They're shaking that sand and trying to find those gold nuggets. Everything in life is like that. We're always looking for the gold nuggets. And your capability of doing that just depends on the consistency of you doing it. That's it. And you know what the fun part about it is that not only the capability and capacity go hand in hand, but you find out what you're made out of. And not only do you find out what you're made out of, but you get to that sparkle in your eye that says, you know what? I am all that and a bag of chips. It is the best part of everything. It is the best part of everything to be able to see, you know what? It was hard, but I did it anyway. And when we have that victory, and we're able to notch our sticks and we're able to move forward, guess what else happens? Then we're able to get to the place of commitment. I know I can do it. I have the capacity and the capability of being able to do it. I've got the conviction behind me, and now I'm going to dedicate myself to this cause. This is what happens when you decide you're going to go from the couch to a 5K, for example. That's a program that's out there. You can Google that if you want to find it, but you can find things like that. You can find things that allow you to go to the next level when you make a decision to commit all the way to it. When you said, I do at the altar, you committed all the way. It was no more, I'm dating you, but if somebody better comes along, see ya, right? You committed. You committed. This is building a life together, building a home together, having children, having a legacy together. It's something that we do. That's what commitment does. When you commit to yourself, you're committing to your best self. You're committing to your vibrant self. You're committing to the next level up, and you're living your life mindfully so that you're able to do it. You've got the capacity, you've got the capabilities, you've got the conviction, and now you're just underscoring it with a commitment. And when you put this public, and you put this commitment, I am going to fill in the blank. I am about this. I am, and you're daily into it. Like how we teach you to do this with our goals, their 90-day goals that we do and Take Back Your Life. I mean, everything changes because it's constantly in front of you. And we get to turn up the heat, turn up the dial, and live a life that is vibrant and expectant as well, expecting great things to happen. And they do. Isn't it fun? They just drop into your life. And then we get to go to the place of consistency, which is my word of the year, folks. It's my word of the year. And consistency is one of the most beautiful things in the world, because consistency is basically the child, if you will, of conviction. Because consistency is what seeds it was what seeds your momentum. Being consistent, showing up even though, doing just a little bit because. And doing all of this helps you hold everything together. What if you were have you noticed when you're inconsistent with your children, what happens? They're like all over the place. I remember when my son was born, my kids are 21 months apart. And when my son was born, my daughter's schedule just went to the wayside. Because I was guilty. I felt guilty. Oh, here's this new baby who's taking up all my time, and mommy's constantly nursing and not giving, my 21-month-old the attention that she usually got. And so what happened? Well, I let her bedtime go. I let her stay up earlier, and she fell apart. She fell apart because the consistency of her routine was gone because of whatever. And when it finally clicked in, and when I finally got it and said, just because I've had a baby and everything has I've had to change everything in my routine is being renewed and reestablished, right, with a brand new baby, doesn't mean her routine needs to be disrupted like that. And when I put her back on her routine, guess what? Consistency. It held her together. What do? When you're cooking, it says bring it to a nice consistency. What are they talking about? They're talking about a sauce that's held together. They're talking about smoothness. They're talking about adherence. That's what we get with consistency. And consistency holds all of this mess together. Without it, you've got a broken chain on that bicycle and you're going nowhere. Without consistency, you've got haphazard this and haphazard that. And your conviction is fleeting. Without consistency, your commitment is kind of wishy-washy. Without consistency, your capability and your capacity for doing anything, it's up in the air. Maybe on Wednesday, but not today. So consistency kind of holds everything together. It connects all the dots, all of them. And this is what I want you to see as you're going forward through this week. How about staying consistent with it? How about stop looking for excuses? How about being prepared? How about deciding that you're convicted that this is the tool that you need to take you to the next place? How about living your life on that level instead? Just a thought. How about it though? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? If you did this, if you ponied up to all of these things and these C's and they all connected with each other and it all made sense with the life that you're living right now? Well, it does, if you make a decision that it is. Remember, what you think about expands, and what you dwell upon, that becomes your destiny. So your consistency can take you all the way and connect the dots with your commitment, your conviction, your capacity, and your capability. Because you've got all of them. It's just a matter of pulling them all out and making them work for you. I think you've got this. That's my conviction. I think you've got it. And if you want to be a part of this and you want to be in an incredible, vibrant community, it's our Hot Melt Sprint community. Smaller community than our Saving Dinner community here, which is much bigger. Smaller community, and the women there, I cannot tell you how incredible they are. They've got each other's backs, and there's genuine friendships that have bloomed in there. There's body clutter buddies that if you need somebody who's going to be one-on-one with you, we have it all right there, and it's free. All you have to do is go to savingdinner.com/sprint to get a part of this. It's free. You can download the guide, everything about it. What is that thinking and dwelling statement again? It is what you focus on expands. What you dwell upon becomes your destiny. It's all about the stuff that's between your ears. That's the most important part. When you get that down, everything else starts to fall into place. And when everything starts to fall into place, you are living the life of your dreams. You're the creator of your own life, right? So if you're the creator of your own life and you're living the life of your dreams, you can thank yourself for that. You did it. So thanks for being with me today. I appreciate you all showing up, and I appreciate you sharing these videos. Sharing is caring, after all. And don't forget, we put these in our groups, and you can watch them on YouTube. You'll actually see the intro and the outro. And what else? Oh, well, we had some, I don't know, I guess that's it. You found a bestie. Aw, see, somebody found a bestie from doing getting a body clutter buddy. It's all yours. Just make that decision. Peace be with you. I really appreciate you. What is that thinking and dwelling? Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.